they actually prefer having a dictator in the White House. As long as it's their guy, they're totally for it. They don't mind oligarchs when it's George Soros. They don't mind people behind the curtain pulling all kinds of strings, doing things behind everybody's back. Actually, we found out this week, actually overthrowing the president of the United States as long as it was Joe Biden and you got Kamala Harris in. What's going on right now is really simple. The left worships at the feet of the almighty federal government. Trump is destroying all of their altars, and they're livid about it. So what are good leftists to do when they're losing so badly? Well, can we set anything on fire? Yeah, they're doing that. Can we deface anything? Yeah. Can we beat anybody up in the streets? Yeah, they're doing that. You know what? We haven't tried this for a while. Let's shuffle over to the judicial branch and rally all the judges. Well, that was what they announced they were going to do about a year or so ago. The left and their mainstream media partners are looking to the federal courts to be, quote, the last bulwark against Trump. Politico is already calling this the court case presidency. Wow, how do you know that? The courts have provided the only real opposition to Trump 2.0 so far. Oh, then that makes it right. Wait until I get into the Constitution, you boobs. You remember back in 2024 when the then President Biden bragged about defying the Supreme Court and mainstream media just, yeah, that's great what he said. The Supreme Court had shut down his unconstitutional student loan forgiveness program. And Biden tweeted, quote, I promised to ease student debt for millions of folks. The Supreme Court blocked me, but it didn't stop me. I found another way to help more than 3.7 million people. He was spending money. The reason why this is unconstitutional, only Congress has power of the purse. Only they can open up and say, yeah, reach your hand in there and grab some more. This president is using executive power to not spend your money, and they're upset about it. He has the right to not spend your money. President Biden didn't have the right to spend your money. One of these is wrong, and we don't seem to agree on which one's which. I had horrible pain in my hands. I had a hard time moving them. I could barely work with them. I couldn't write or type or anything. I tried everything. Then I found Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors, and it's safe to take daily. It made a real impact for me and so many others. Try their 3-week quick start now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com. The mainstream media just stepped in and supported his defiance of the Supreme Court. Biden pledges a new path to student loan relief after judicial setback. Wow. Supreme Court was just a setback. Okay, I got to remember that one. He couldn't be bothered by a Supreme Court decision. After all, they're so far right. I was forgiving debt anyway. I was providing relief to all the folks. Oh. So they casually retreated like it was no big deal that a president was just shrugging off the highest court in the land. But now President Trump conflicts with a lower court ruling from Judge James Boasberg over deporting of Venezuelan gang members. And suddenly it's a constitutional crisis. Biden defies the Supreme Court, and it's, man, look how he just keeps going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, fighting for the people against those judicial tyrants. Trump pushes against one district judge, and it's doomsday. Okay. I don't think people are being honest here. So let's take a look at some of these Democratic-appointed federal judges who are playing whack-a-mole with Trump's agenda. Let's start with Judge James Boasberg. What a guy. Picked by Obama back in 2016. He served on the FISA court, where he approved 4 applications related to the Russia collusion hoax. He's the guy that signed off on all of that. And then later, when the former FBI attorney, Kevin Kleinsmith, pleaded guilty to lying to him on one of the FISA applications, a violation that carries up to 5 years in prison, Judge Boasberg was like, yeah, I'm sure he didn't mean it. No prison time. Oh, okay, I think I'm starting to see who you are. Let me see if I can clarify and zoom in a little bit more. Next, we have Anna Reyes. She's another D.C. District Court judge. She was also appointed by Joe Biden. She's the judge that halted Trump's ban on transgender troops in the military. In 2020, she also volunteered her legal services to Biden's campaign. Since 2008, she donated over $38,000 to Democrats, including maxing out on the contributions to Biden in 2020. I wonder how she got her job. And then she's also been associated with a buffet of left-wing activist groups, pro-abortion, pro-illegal immigration, pro-DEI, you name it, that's her. Then there's the U.S. District Court Judge Theodore Chang, another Obama appointee. Now, he's the one trying to reverse Trump's shutdown of USAID, which folks are just so passionate about, right? He also has a long history of donating to the Democratic Party candidates and causes, including Obama and John Kerry presidential campaigns, okay? But back in 2017, he was the first judge to block Donald Trump's travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries. He said that was just horrific. In 2020, he also issued the injunction against Trump and the administration's FDA rule that abortion drugs have to be picked up in person, can't be received by mail. That's just outrageous and unconstitutional. Where? So those are just a few of the high-profile examples for you, but there's also another Biden appointee, Amir Ali. Now, he was born and raised in Canada by Egyptian parents. Ali has just become a U.S. citizen in 2019. And he's a federal judge? Wow. And he's been a federal judge for less than 4 months. He's the guy who blocked Trump's 90-day freeze on foreign aid. Great. Then there's Obama's appointee, Beryl Howell, who ruled against Trump's firing of members of the National Labor Relations Board. And then Biden's appointee, Lauren Ali Khan, who blocked the Trump administration from freezing federal grants and loans. The list goes on and on and on. And the judges? This is going to come as a surprise, are all long-term Democratic Party donors and are Obama-Biden loyalists, taking sledgehammers to President Trump's attempt to do some spring cleaning in the executive branch. I don't know. Pattern here seems pretty obvious. The groups I told you about in the previous segment, plus literally dozens of other similar groups, are releasing a torrent of lawsuits against Trump and knowing exactly where to file them to reach the favorable judges. Well, who would have thought that this might have been coordinated at all? Because it all looks so spontaneous. Agitate and escalate. This is the left's playbook, and it's been the same for decades. They destroy whatever they touch. Have you ever lived in a city or been to a city and you're like, this is a great city? You move there and then a bunch of leftists move in and you're like, it's not as great of a city, not because of the people moving in, but because of what they're doing. And pretty soon it's absolutely unlivable. Yeah. These are the people that are now making the decisions for you. Okay? Not the person you elected, but me, the guy who's been a judge for 4 months and a new citizen. Wow, and they say you can't make it in America. Look at how that happened. Now, I'm going to take a closer look at who's escalating the fight in the streets against Trump and Elon Musk. Oh, that's even more fun. Next.